Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Melissa with Enchanted Emerald bringing you a reading today from the Traditional Rider-Waite deck for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. We have the Fool card showing up for us. So as I tap into the energy with this card to kind of get a read about what this is about for us, I'm definitely hearing the song The Climb by Miley Cyrus. I'm really feeling like this is about us moving forward and not just about achieving that goal, but really starting to value the lessons that we learn along the way. So this Fool, of course, is embarking on a journey, and I really feel like this is something that many of us in the collective are doing at this time. And there is a caution here with this. Like, I see a stop sign almost on our path, and it's a bit of a caution for us. And I think it's really important that we think about our next step very carefully, because we want to make sure that our footing is secure as we walk this path, right? We want to make sure that we're on solid ground. And I feel like if we don't do that, there is the caution that kind of comes in with that, with the tumbleweed, where if we aren't careful about where we're taking that next step, I really feel like we could end up feeling like that tumbleweed, right? Not having any roots, easily swayed by other people and their opinions, right? Their influence, and maybe perhaps making the wrong decision in achieving what we want to achieve, right? So I feel like this Fool, we're coming to some sort of a fork in the road, or like a Y shape, and you have to choose which path. And I can see many people are going to take the path left, where it's like the path of least resistance, the path that's already forged. And then there's some of us that are going to contemplate that fork in the road and going right, which is actually inevitably going to be some sort of a climb or a hill that we have to go through in order to achieve what we want to achieve. So going left, that's the path that a lot of people take. It's already forged mostly for you. You could make little adjustments for yourself, or you could go right and go up the hill. And there is a lot to be said about taking that uphill path, because there's greater risk for greater reward, right? There's a greater reward taking that path. It might take a little bit longer, but there's something to be said about forging our own path, right? We have this deep appreciation at the end, after being triumphant through all of the difficulty that it comes with. So I do feel like, clearing the path, walking your way through it, you then become the expert. You decide what is best for you. You decide how you will achieve your goal. And really, ultimately, there's not going to be anybody standing there at the end telling you how you could have done things better, right? Because not many people took that path. So you are creating your own version of success with that, and you will then turn around and help others, right? I feel like it's like reaching out a hand when you get to the top of the hill to help others up as well, to be able to give them some guidance of like, this is what worked for me, this didn't work for me, right? But you will become the expert for your life and what you're hoping to achieve, setting out to achieve. I do see with this the wolf spirit. So like you can see on the card here, it's actually a white dog, which is bringing in some of that caution, but I'm sensing that there is a wolf spirit. So I feel like you are surrounded by fiercely loyal individuals, and they could be your friends, they could be some of your biggest fans, right? This isn't just your inner circle though. This is something that extends out to acquaintances as well. So don't be afraid to share your ideas, share your experiences as you move through this with other people, because I do feel like sharing your story, you could elicit support from places you never even would have imagined that it would be coming from, somewhere where you least expect it. So this is where taking that uphill climb though gets a little bit more difficult, where you can tend to feel like your dreary, weary days are really accentuated, but know that the sun is here for you. It is shining for you, and everything will work out. Almost like saving for a rainy day, right? Where we set money or resources aside so that on a rainy day, we're able to go do something to bring joy. This is really about investing, not just your money or your resources, right? But really investing your emotional energy, investing your time, but mostly your time. This is going to take some time. Rome was not built in a day, and this too will take some time, and it will require a lot of emotional investment. It's something that cannot be rushed. In fact, it will be something that you have to do and push yourself through over and over. It's not a one and done thing. This is a process of refinement where you're going to make those tweaks, make those adjustments, and then ultimately be able to break through the barrier. And, when I say that, I feel like for some of you, this could be that you're perhaps the first in your family to achieve a success like this, or of this nature, or of this magnitude, right? And so you're moving very emphatically, you're focused, you're precise, and there is little left to doubt here. I do feel like you're moving differently than you have before, right? Like historically, it would be uncharacteristic of you to be so laser focused to achieve an outcome. Like in the past, maybe you could have had patterns of completing tasks in a more of a roundabout way, or unconventional, where you're picking steps to achieve a task or a desired outcome that other people ordinarily wouldn't pick, or they wouldn't necessarily choose to achieve it in that way. And so this is where, yes, the outcome is important, right? There's a means to an end here, right? You have maybe in the past always taken the steps that you need to achieve that goal in the fastest and most efficient way possible. And this is about flipping that all around, where you are starting to understand that there's a lot of value in those little steps that you take in order to achieve that outcome. So there's value in this process of learning and refinement. Know that your ability to think outside the box, in other words, choosing the different steps that other people ordinarily wouldn't choose, that is your superpower, right? You are able to think outside the box. You have this uncanny ability to do it differently. And, this is because of your skill set. This innate ability comes in for you. It's your own unique perspective. And this is what's going to help you throughout this whole process of taking the path less traveled, right? You're able to kind of see beyond surface level, and you intrinsically know that if there's a shortcut that you can take and it won't affect the outcome, you see it and you go for it. And it's leading with that passion, right? And reading between the lines. So I think this is really great energy for us. I do think that coming in with that caution, one last thing is that there is a bit of like damning evidence where you see things for what they are, and you see people possibly even for who they are. And perhaps you would have thought that some of these supports that were around you, or one particular individual has had your best interest at heart this whole time, but they're really not that emotionally invested in your best outcome. And so it's almost like some sort of gross negligence where there was like careless disregard when they gave you advice. And, you see through that, you understand that it's preposterous. This doesn't even make sense. It's completely ridiculous. And so being able to have that ability to do that and keep your footing on solid ground as you travel this path is where all these lessons that come in, they're preparing you for the best success. And so this is a really great energy for us. So beautiful reading here for you today. As always, if this resonates, and you're feeling inclined to share, please do so. I would appreciate that. And I will be back, of course, with another read for you guys again soon. Thank you so much. Take care.